way too early Premier League awards. We'll start with Player of the Year so far, and no surprise when you take a look at everybody's pick. They've all gone for Liverpool players, but they've gone for different players. Which player, can we see who everyone has gone for? Is that part of it? This is smooth, right? No, don't worry about it. Right, here we go. Don, here it is. There it comes. All right, perfect. Don has gone for Van Dijk. Mark has gone for Luis Díaz. Shaka Hislop's gone for Mo Salah. Stevie Nicol has gone for Ryan Gravenberch, who he did nothing but criticise since his arrival to Liverpool. Yeah. But boy, what a turnaround. So much so he's been better than Mo Salah or Van Dijk.
No, I think it's the importance that he's... I mean, we're basically looking at a team who looked as though they had absolutely a big hole in the middle of the park that had to be filled. They tried to make a couple of signings in that particular area, didn't work out, and so Gravenberch started.
So he's been Liverpool's best player.
Absolutely, I would argue that without Gravenberch, Liverpool might not be top of the league.
Wow.
Let me put it that way.
Could you not
That's how important he's been.
Could you argue the same for, say, Mo Salah? Virgil van Dijk?
Well, so think about what you're saying.
Yes.
The fact that you're actually talking about Gravenberch in the same breath as Mo Salah tells you how good Gravenberch has been. So the fact that Mo Salah
most improved,
so the fact that Mo Salah is doing what he does best,
right?
But he's also being equalled in the performance stakes by Gravenberch. There's no question, it has to be Gravenberch.
Was it really your first pick, or were you told that you can pick the other three?
No. I thought it was dead simple.
Really?
I thought it was straightforward.
Over Van Dijk or Mo Salah?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Dad's not having it, is
Well, no, I'm just intrigued that that's where you go. That's your first pick. Well, like biggest surprise, biggest improvement, I would get.
All of the above. Everything.
That's okay.
Tell me one person that you've spoken to on this show or anywhere else
I understand
who said, by the way, I knew that Gravenberch was going to be sensational this year.
No, I absolutely understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying in this context, it's interesting that you've chosen him ahead of Virgil van Dijk, considering how good defensively Liverpool have been, or Mo Salah, considering how key his goals have been.
Well, again, the fact that they've been so good defensively, a lot of it is down to Gravenberch.
I see, not Van Dijk.
I didn't say that. See, the old Dan Thomas classic of, you said... Which you never said. No. Listen, let me and you've actually opened another avenue.
Oh.
The fact that Mo Salah's been able to get his goals is down to Gravenberch as well.
Wow.
And the fact that Liverpool and Van Dijk have defended so well is down to Gravenberch.
He's done very well,
hold on a second. Let's go for Gravenberch.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So that was a very, very good argument as to why you think it's him. Why is Luis Díaz more important than Mo Salah, Mark?
Well... That wasn't the question, was it? It's not the who's most important player.
Yes, who's the Premier League player of the season so far?
No, and I'll tell you why. Luis Díaz has stepped up. Well, look, we know that Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk are great players, but Salah's he's had his peaks and troughs this season, but I think Luis Díaz has taken it to a different level, and maybe that's down to Arne Slot. I mean, I was at Anfield for the hat-trick against Leverkusen, and he was outstanding that night, and he has brought something extra to his game this season, whereby I think they would have really missed Luis Díaz had he not been playing. So, yeah, he's been more important than Mo Salah because he's given Liverpool something different, a bit more variety. Because, you know, Mo Salah's in his last season, we didn't know which way it was going to go this year with Salah. And there have been games where he's been great and other games where he's been not so great. But with Mo Salah, I mean, I was at the Emirates when he was hopeless for 85 minutes but scored the winning goal. But that's what Salah does. But I think Luis Díaz has been more consistent. But obviously Salah grabs the headlines because he's Mo Salah. But I think Díaz, for me... And I could have picked any of the, I could have picked Gravenberch or Van Dijk or Salah. I did actually think about those three as well. I think Gravenberch's had a great season. But I just think Luis Díaz has stepped it up to a different level.
So who picked Van Dijk? You do
No, that was Dom.
So you're Mo Salah?
I'm Mo Salah.
So are you buying anything that they're selling here?
I'm buying it, but it just comes right down to, listen, if I'm building a team in the morning and I have a choice of those four, I'd pick Mo Salah. It was as simple as that. And while I get all the arguments, and I think Liverpool has surpassed expectation this season. Listen, we know Liverpool are going to be a good team, but there was an uncertainty with the manager coming in and how they finished up last season. And they've exceeded all of those, all of the above. But again, my decision while looking at everybody throughout, from back to front for Liverpool, if I could pick one player out of that team, it would still be Mo Salah.
Mo Salah or Van Dijk? No-brainer, really, Don.
Yeah, Van Dijk has to be.
There we go.
I just think if you're building a team and you want the best player and you want consistency, and I think when you look at the performances that Van Dijk's put in, I think he's been by far and away Liverpool's best player. I think when you're talking about the three players that are out of contract between him, Trent and Salah, I'm starting to think the argument in the camp now is if Van Dijk is the one, I think you sign first because I think he's that important.
Donny, you're right. Has international break broken you? Do you need to get some water or something? You're not feeling very well.
I've been watching, mate, loads of kids' footy, and I'm absolutely bunged up, flued up to the eyeballs. So if my voice lasts this hour, I should take the award.
Well, there you are. Well, that's going to be lovely for us to hear that. Right then, from player of the season to revelation of the season. Some would say Gravenberch, but he's already been covered by our good friend Stevie Nicol. Let's take a look then. Mickey Moore, Chris Wood, Nico Jackson and Chelsea.
Chelsea.
We've got Don dying. Shaka, Nico Jackson.
Yeah.
Wasn't he brilliant last season, though, in the second half?
Was he?
Yeah.
Well,
he was excellent.
I totally went
You didn't think he was
unrecognised by
brilliant
me.
last season?
That Nico Jackson was brilliant last season?
In the second half of last season, he was a big part of why Chelsea finished with the momentum that they did.
What was he?
I don't think he's not been a revelation this season, has he?
Listen, I missed the second half of last season because I didn't think Nico Jackson covered himself in any kind of glory at all. And contrast that with this season, and I think that was the big point for me in choosing Nico Jackson. Some of his disappointments of last season and contrast to how he started this season, not just his goals, but the way he's held play up, the way his linked play for Chelsea so far this season. I thought it was a total contrast to everything I saw last season.
He was so good that they tried to sign the centre forward during the summer.
Right, all he talked in the summer was about Osimhen.
Osimhen.
How did that
All he
go?
talked this summer was about Osimhen.
Sure, they could have got him, couldn't they? Well, they could have got
Why would they try and sign a centre forward then if he was so good?
So he's come out of nowhere.
Just answer the question.
Has he come out of nowhere this season?
You know, you're always wanting an answer, So give me an answer.
My point is, when you think of biggest revelation...
Doesn't want to listen.
But when you think of biggest revelation, I would agree Chris Wood for someone who has come completely out of the woodwork. You couldn't even give a name. You gave a team. And it's Chelsea as opposed to Nottingham Forest. The revelation of the season.
Well, because I couldn't come up with one.
Right, brilliant. That's good. This is the nonsense that we're dealing with.
Look at Mr. Series giving all that.
What do you mean you're the one who brought up Chelsea trying to find a striker?
Well, because I couldn't abstain. But you're the one.
Why
You're the
couldn't you
one sitting
abstain?
here saying how brilliant Nick Jackson was, but yet Chelsea tried to sign a centre forward in the summer. That's how brilliant he was.
But he didn't do anything last season that made you think, oh, he's got something.
The debate's over. I've just told you.
The debate's over.
I've just told you.
That's the end of that.
That's how good he was when he tried to sign another player.
Mark, welcome to the show.
I've already spoken about Luis Díaz.
It's Chris Wood, isn't it? We've done that bit out because it didn't make any sense.
It's got to be Chris Wood because, you know, Nottingham Forest are a revelation in itself, the fifth at the moment, but Chris Wood's got 8 goals, and Chris Wood's always been a good Premier League, you know, centre forward, but he won't say he's been a good Premier League goal scorer. He's done a job at Burnley, he's done a job at Newcastle, but he's got 8 goals, he's second on to Erling Haaland, so I don't think it'll last. I don't think Forest will last, but as we stand right now, I don't think you can say that anyone has been as big a surprise as Chris Wood.
Mickey Moore, Don.
Mikey Moore.
I call him Mickey.
I think when you talk revelation to me is finding someone brand new. And I think Mikey Moore, I've worked on Tottenham's European games this season. He's played a few of them. He's been outstanding. I spoke to Tim Sherwood, Jermaine Defoe. They reckon he's the next one to come from their academy. I think if Ange Postecoglou wants to move James Maddison on in the summer and Mikey Moore can fill his shoes, I think he could be that good. So I think revelation is a young player, someone brand new. That's why I'm going for Mikey Moore.
Let's go for best transfer then, shall we? That was made over the summer. Chelsea, of course, didn't get their striker they were so desperate for. So what signings have caught the eye for Don and for Shaka, Pedro Neto? Meanwhile, Ogden's gone for Calafiori. Stevie has gone for Milenkovic. Oggy, Calafiori hasn't played that much, has he?
No, the difference he made when he did play, and all joking aside, I thought he brought some real kind of quality. No, seriously. Honestly, he toughened up the Arsenal defence and he solved the problem, and they have missed him. You know, where Arsenal right now, they've missed him. So let's be honest, right? There haven't been that many top signings this season, I have to say, and I did struggle to fill this gap. But I thought Calafiori for me has been a good signing for Arsenal when he's been fit.
Who did you say, Stevie?
Milenkovic.
There we go.
Centre back.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, just what you want. 6'5", wins everything in the air, has controlled everybody around him, that back line.
Yep.
I mean, Chris Woods has scored a lot of goals, but I tell you what, defensively, they have been a completely new animal this year. And for me, it's down to Murillo and Milenkovic, but I'm going to go for Milenkovic.
Shaka, you're going to speak on behalf of Donna and yourself, as you both picked the same player.
Yeah, Pedro Neto. Well, he cost Chelsea quite a bit of money, and you knew the player he was coming from Wolves. I just think he gives them a different dynamic in those wide areas. Every time he's come off the bench, he's changed the game for Chelsea. I think he has been one of Chelsea's own brighter lights this season in what has been a very good start to the season for them.
What about the worst transfer? Let's take a look at who the boys chose. I think maybe a little more of a wider range than we saw for the best transfer. I thought Xerxes might be on there. Timo Werner, of course, signed again on loan for Spurs. Nicholas Füllkrug, I think, has been injured all the time. Raheem Sterling, meanwhile. I think Xerxes, Oggy, many would agree with you.
I mean, I feel sorry for the kid because, he can't turn down a move to Man United. Look, a great move, but he's just out of his depth. He's just not good enough. He doesn't look fit. He's not quick enough. He doesn't score enough goals. He's only scored one. He's just not ready for Man United. And there have been a couple of rumours that he might go back to Italy in January on loan, which, it will be an admission of a failure by him and United, but I wouldn't rule it out because he's just not got it. And with a new manager coming in who likes his forwards to be dynamic, then doesn't bode well for Joshua Xerxes, does it?
Sterling seems a weird one, Stevie, out of everyone.
What's he done?
But what did you expect him to do? Like, he's going to be part of the squad, he's going to play bits and pieces.
Well, let's be honest, what has he done? He's done zero. So, I mean,
it's a low move.
At the very least, right? Come on and give Martinelli and Saka on the other side a break, and push the rest of the players to be better. Yeah, I mean, just all the things, all the reasons that he was brought. Use your experience. Push the other two to be better. You're giving them competition, and then when you do get a chance, make it count. I mean, he's done nothing, absolutely zero.
But we didn't. What did you expect from him?
Well, more than zero. I expected more than nothing at all. Absolutely zilch. So I would say, okay, call me crazy.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but if you sign somebody and they do nothing, that's not good.
But in the debate of who's done less, Xerxes was expected to do something.
You just want to argue with me today or what?
No, I'm just putting this point across because it just seems an interesting...
I think that's a good shout. Xerxes is a good shout. I think it's a...
Yeah.
Yeah, I just personally, when I look at it, I mean, Xerxes scored a goal. There you go.
Well, Sterling scored a goal.
When?
This season he scored.
Against who?
I can't remember.
It's funny how you remember. All of a sudden you remember he scored a goal.
Well, it's because it said it on the graphic there.
I'll tell you, it wasn't in the Premier League.
All right, there we are.
Oh, there you go. Xerxes scored a goal in the Premier League.
OK.
That's why he's worse than Xerxes.
Oh, you did that research,
Thank
did
you.
you? You did that research before. Look, see, one. And he's got an assist.
I rest my case.
And he's got an assist. Shaka Füllkrug's just been injured, hasn't he? He hasn't really done anything.
But when he's featured, as per the graphic, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
He really has done nothing. Listen, and I think that there's a larger issue about West Ham's overall feelings this season, but I just thought, listen, Füllkrug coming in provides more. And yes, he's been injured, but even when he has featured, it's been a huge disappointment in my opinion.
And Timo Werner for you, Don?
Just a weird signing, Dan. I mean, Tottenham knew what they were getting or when they signed him on loan in the summer. I mean, what was the point? He didn't do particularly well last season. They could have given that job to Mikey Moore or a young player coming through. I just didn't see the point in the signing, and when he plays, he doesn't impress.
Biggest surprise so far? Certainly, this segment's 15 minutes and we've still got a lot to go. Biggest surprise of the Premier League season?
I'm not getting through.
No, I know you're not, Tom. You're dragging us all down with you as well. Chelsea, Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, I've got for Jamie Vardy.
That's brilliant. So Arsenal.
I didn't know we were allowed to pick teams here. I've gone for the individual where everybody's gone for teams. What's the same way Stevie's gone for teams?
His biggest revelation of the season was Chelsea. A biggest surprise Arsenal. What did you say, Shaq?
No,
Jamie Vardy.
Listen, I think Jamie Vardy is such a great story, certainly in terms of the Premier League and everything that he's accomplished with Leicester. And still, I mean, he's, 37 now and just continues to be an exciting part of Leicester's story at a time that I didn't think he'd have any kind of impact in the league.
To be fair, the biggest surprise is Shaka picking Jamie Vardy.
Oh, I
That's
like
the biggest surprise.
Isn't that nice, though?
Yeah.
I'm a romantic.
Yeah. Your biggest surprise?
I tell you, the biggest surprise that Arsenal, after 11 games, would be 9 points behind.
So, what did you put for biggest disappointment, which we've still got to do?
Oh, we've still got to do. Well, you can't have disappointment and surprise in the same thing.
We've got revelation, disappointment, and surprise. Mark, what was yours?
My master of English.
Chelsea.
We've been
Chelsea, biggest surprise in a positive way.
Yeah, because I must admit, I thought that Enzo Maresca was a bad appointment. I thought that the way he plays his football, he came into a squad that wouldn't play the way he wants to play. But to be fair to him, he's done it, and he's made some big decisions. He's got rid of Raheem Sterling, as Stevie will tell us all about how that was a good call, wasn't it? So
by the way,
I think he
Luis
surprises
Diaz.
us.
Luis Diaz got dropped, by the way, during the season.
He was rested. They get rested these days.
Your pipe and smoke it.
Are we back there?
Luis Diaz got dropped. That's how
But anyway,
he's been.
I thought Chelsea would be a disaster again, but they've done well, and but Chelsea.
Right then. You're going to put this segment in the next segment. Biggest disappointment of the season so far. What has Stevie put for this? Let's take a look, shall we, at everybody's recommendations. Stevie's gone for West Ham. There we are. Shaka, West Ham. Oggy, of course, it's Manchester United.
Sorry to disappoint you.
What do you mean? Don has gone United. Shaka, talk us through West Ham.
How can it be Man United anyway? Who's surprised at how bad they were?
Right.
How's that? How's that a disappointment or surprise or whatever you want?
They've been disappointingly bad.
Everybody said they were going to be rubbish.
Yes.
So how can they be the biggest disappointment when they're exactly what we thought they would be?
Yep. I just like Mark.
Oggy, you need to take this more
seriously.
serious.
The 13th.
The 13th.
Listen, United are 13th. We knew they'd be bad, but the 13th, and they've sacked the manager. So I suppose that's raising the bar for the disappointment for Man United. That is, nobody thought they'd be 13th. Come on. So yeah, they've been. They're the gift that keeps on giving, but they're disappointing as well.
Lopetegui out.
And it's getting harder and harder to make an argument to keep him. And I'll be honest, I thought when West Ham announced the Lopetegui as manager, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I thought they had a great transfer window in the summer as well. And then all of a sudden, they're below Manchester United. That's to tell you how bad things have been. I mean, it's not only about the position in the table, but the football that West Ham have played has been god-awful this season.
Aye.
It really has.
How ironic that they get rid of a manager because the football was awful. And they got another one, and it's even worse.
Isn't that ironic?
Disappointing.
Don't you think? Final one, manager of the season. Does everyone agree with this? I imagine they would do.
Yeah, surely.
Oh, surely. Let's take a look. There it is.
Yes, yeah.
Arne Slot have coming in, filling the big shoes. Don't say anything, Don. Save your voice. Arne Slot then is our manager of the season.